Welcome to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust from the Capital Region's leading experts in real estate and all related fields. From the latest real estate trends to the best mortgage rates, from curb appeal to home warranty, this is the talk show that will help you save and make the most when it comes to buying or selling your most valuable asset. Now, here's your host, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, The Property Shop, John Bevilacqua.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Capital Region. Johnny G, what's up, my man?
Hey. Well, it's the weekend. We're feeling good.
It is the weekend, man. I had a hectic morning in my household this morning.
Ooh,
so
what happened? Ooh,
we're part of the Westland Hills baseball and softball club, right? So Westland Hills Baseball and Little League is actually at one point was the largest Little League in the United States. They made the Guinness Book of World Records, right?
Wow.
So that's
pretty
over
cool.
in Westland Hills Park in Albany. So today's I think it's their 69th season. So it's
that's awesome.
Kickoff ceremony, big parade coming down Lincoln Avenue.
Great. Oh, that's great.
I had the Albany Horse Patrol parked in front of my house, and they were unloading the horses before I left there. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Got Ben Forcucci over here.
Good
Freedom
morning.
Funding.
Yeah.
How's everybody?
We're good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah?
A decent-looking weekend coming up.
I think
no
it'll be okay.
rain. I don't know about any sunshine, but I'll take it.
Not a lot. Tomorrow will be a better day, but colder.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, as long as it's not cold this morning, it's for the kids, because,
I think
not
it'll be
raw.
okay. It's not going to rain.
Right, it's not going to rain.
No.
It's not
It'll
raw
be
out
fine.
there.
That's the key, because if
It'll
it
be
rains,
fine.
it just makes it so much colder.
Yeah. No,
So-
they'll be fine.
So, a little crazy in my household this morning, and it's been a little crazy in the
Don't
real
worry,
estate.
your wife's taking care of it
She's
for you.
taking care.
Don't
She's
worry about
cursing
it.
me out right now. She's like, you got to go to the show this morning? Are you serious?
You let me by myself.
My daughter was negotiating with me. She's like, Dad, would you skip a wedding for your radio show? And I said, well, it depends who's getting married. I said, I'm going to work. So, and that's what we do. We're here to give you guys. That's why we come. Ben's up this morning. I'm up this morning. Our goal is to bring you guys the most up-to-date real estate information, tips, tricks, strategies, loan strategies with Ben.
Yep.
So people can be successful on buying and selling the place that they call home. Been doing it for over 20 years. Ben's been doing it for a long time. We're not bragging. We are just applying for the job of helping you buy or sell a house or help you get a mortgage. So,
Absolutely.
That being said, we're going to have to beat this NAR lawsuit a little bit more. But
there's something coming at us.
There's some good news. So this is not a Negative Nancy episode. So this is some good news that's swirling around the news outlets. We're going to take a quick spot break. We're going to hear Ben's commercial. We're going to get back to it. We're going to talk about if buyer agency in America is being threatened by this lawsuit. That's the big topic today.
Perfect.
All right.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
It's John Tesh. If you're thinking of selling your home, let me take the stress out of deciding which agent to hire. In the Capital Region, the agent I recommend is John Bevilacqua, founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty at The Property Shop. So for 2 decades, John has helped more than 2,500 families buy and sell the place they call home. That's a solid track record, one that's backed up by dozens of 5-star reviews. Hello. In fact, John is so confident in his marketing system to attract the right buyer for your home that he guarantees to sell it at a price and deadline you agreed to, or he's going to buy it himself for cash. And he provides that guarantee in writing. The agent I trust is John Bevilacqua, and he's the agent you should trust too. His name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. So write this number down. It's 518-957-SOLD. That's easy. 518-957-7653. Or go to JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com. I love that one. JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com, and you'll get your home sold guaranteed.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. What's really the best rate? Which term makes sense? Hi, I'm Ben Forcucci at Freedom One Funding in Latham. We work with 10 different lenders who provide 100 different mortgage products. I'll listen to what your needs are, and then I'll do the work to find the right option for your particular situation. We have special expertise in helping first-time home buyers. So eliminate the stress and call me today at 542-LOAN. I'm Ben Forcucci from Freedom One Funding, and I'll do the shopping for you. Call 542-LOAN.
Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at SalernoLawNY.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Okay, guys. We are back. We are about to jump into the topic of buyer agency in America and what's going on with this NAR lawsuit relative to how buyers will be able to buyer agents will be able to get paid, and it's not going to be like it used to be where the proceeds came from the sell side. And again, I'm going to break this all down. I don't want it to get too confusing because we got to. It's actually pretty simple to understand. We're just going to break it down a little bit. But a lot of this is, and the reason I had Ben on the show is because a lot of this is relative right now to federally backed loans, FHA loans, VA loans, USDA, right? So before we get into it, there's a call-in show, guys. So if you got any questions, you want to pick Ben's brain about mortgage, you want to talk about, I don't care what we talk about, but I just got a topic picked out, which happens to be buyer agency. Give us a call, 476-5900, 518-476-5900. We'll take your call, and we'll get you on the show. So, Ben, so this topic is really so let's get into it. So let's talk about the federal FHA commissioner made an announcement on Monday that the government-backed loans, these FHA, not VA loans yet, but FHA loans, will be able to allow buyer agency fees to be used as a concession or able to be built into the deal.
Right.
Okay. Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I guess let's talk about why this is important from an FHA standpoint.
Okay.
Right.
I think it's huge. Okay.
Yep.
And it's nothing new with seller concessions. Seller concessions literally are done on almost every deal I do with a government loan.
Right.
Okay. First time home buyer, FHA deal.
Yeah.
That's the way we're going.
And what is a concession, though? So
concession is basically you got to put 3.5% down minimum, okay, which is not too much. It's pretty reasonable. But then you still got your closing costs and your escrows for taxes and insurance. That's even more expensive.
Right.
You have to come up with both, okay? But we do seller concessions where we're able to finance those costs, those closing costs, those escrows for taxes within the loan. Okay, You're financing out. So really, at the end of the day, you come to closing with just that 3.5%.
Right. So an easier way to call this is sometimes it's called a seller assist. So what happens is, let's say you're buying a $100,000 house. Your closing costs are 6%, 3%, whatever. Say between $3,000 and $6,000.
Yep.
So what the seller's going to do is he's going to say, okay, Mr. Buyer, I'll help you out. I'm going to mark up the price of the home by $6,000, and I'm going to sell it to you for $106,000, and you keep that extra money for your closing costs.
Right. It's never an issue because it's not taking money out of their pocket.
Correct.
Okay?
Right.
All right.
Makes it a little trickier if you're in a multiple offer situation as a buyer and you're asking the seller to do some extra work when he might be looking at a cash deal or
that'll never change.
It's a good way to do it, though.
It's a good way to do it.
Yep.
So what the government's saying now is because as of July 1st of this year, with this NAR lawsuit that basically said that cooperating brokerage fees, right? So how it used to be done is a seller would basically say, hey, Mr. Listing Agent, I'm going to give you a dozen donuts for selling my house. Now, the listing agent out of those dozen donuts would say, okay, well, I got my marketing costs. I have my budget for, overhead, expenses that come with my business. And then a couple of them donuts I'm going to throw to a buyer agent to help them incentivize to try to sell the house that I have listed, right? Okay.
Bring buyers.
Right. So the government's saying no more donuts to the buyer's agents, right? So that is probably not going to go away. Like the idea of offering compensation to a buyer's agent, I mean, this is a commission-based sale. Like any kind of commission, like you got to motivate people to sell, right? There's no paycheck for a realtor until the deal closes, just like for Ben. We kind of eat what we kill. So with this concept, now the buyer agency fees that are usually displayed in the MLS are all gone. So now it's, you're going to show a home to a buyer and that agent's going to have to call the agent first and find out, A, is he offering a commission? And if he's not, then he's got to have the conversation with the buyer, like, hey, Mr. Buyer, there's no cooperating compensation on this. We got to talk about how I'm going to get paid.
Right.
Okay? So what the government's saying is that buyer agency fee that's not being offered, that the buyer has to pay for, can now be rolled into the loan. Mm-hmm. This is huge. This is good, right, Ben?
Absolutely.
Why is this good?
Well, because it doesn't change anything for the buyer.
Right.
All right. The buyer had nothing to do with this change and, wanting to pay the buyer's agent. They just want to buy a house and they're doing the best they can to come up with the down payment.
Right.
All right. But now they can take that. Now, here's the deal.
Okay.
Almost every government loan I do, FHA, we're not using all the seller concessions because it's a 6% number. All right. So put it towards a purchase price, $300,000, 6%, $18,000. You don't need that much money for closing costs and escrows for taxes. And the first time a home buyer is not buying a $140,000 house anymore. It's okay.
Stays over.
So which means the seller concessions go up. It has room to pay for your closing costs and your escrows for taxes and the buyer's commission.
Right.
Okay.
And you can still leverage those concessions for more traditional, closing costs or assists, such as buying down the interest rate, right? And that's where I think people get so caught up in where the rates are right now. Oh my God, they're like 6.75%. Well, guess what? Like, you can still buy it down. Yeah. And that's a legal
We do
process,
that all the time,
right?
based on when I pre-approve somebody. And they've been, I really want to buy this house for $240,000. I just saw it, I love it, and really his pre-approval is $220,000. Mm-hmm. Then okay, you got an extra $10,000 here to play with, with your own money that you saved. Did a great job. Let's use those seller concessions to get your rate down to 5.5. Right. That brings your debt ratio lower, all right, and it allows you to spend more money on the house.
Correct.
So it's all flexibility. That's what they need.
Right. So the game is definitely changing. And I think it's important to talk about how big this is for first-time home buyers, because when all this came out, I said, well, this legislation is supposed to help the industry. Mm. And with now this announcement from FHA, my biggest concern was for first-time home buyers, right? These are the guys that have the least amount of money and need the most amount of help from a buyer agent, right? Like, they're going, this is a first-time purchase for them, biggest asset they're ever going to buy in their life. Right. They're scraping.
And they're just following you around, just looking for some help to find a home.
Right.
Yeah.
So with no way for them to pay a buyer agent, I figured they're the ones that are going to suffer the most, because they're just not going to have enough there to hire an agent. And if they go directly to the listing agent, you're going to get butchered. Yeah. The seller agent's going to be like, he's going to be rubbing his hands going, oh, we got to, we're going to abuse this guy.
I've got everybody at my power.
Right.
Yep.
So now FHA has given that power back, I believe, to first-time home buyers or anybody that's looking for a federally backed loan. Yeah. So this is big, because I also think, and you know this better than I, Ben, like, federally backed loans are a big engine for the U.S. economy, in the sense that, that paper gets sold on Wall Street. Like this, those loans get packaged up. How's the process work?
Yeah, exactly. They're all protected. That's why sometimes you get a little bit of an issue with an FHA offer. It's because they're protecting the buyer. Mm-hmm. They don't want you to get into a money pit. They want to make sure the house is habitable and everything's going on. The house can be purple, all right, but the condition of it has to be right there.
Right. It can have purple paint, but it can't be peeling.
Correct. And you know what?
That's right.
I've been doing it for 30 years now. I've never had a year where I've done more any other type of loan than FHA. It's
this year?
30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always been FHA and then conventional, then the USDA, VA, but FHA, it's a big bear, it gets people into a lot of houses.
Yeah.
It
does.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, like those loans get bundled up, they get sold to Wall Street. These are big economic factors that really give Americans the opportunity for home ownership. Right. It gives it
trickles down.
It trickles down. In a lot of other countries, home ownership is for the elite. Mm-hmm. Here, listen, if you're scraping and hustling and really trying to make it happen, the American dream, which I believe isn't dead.
Especially now, there's so many different programs and products out there that are just giving you a boost.
And again, that's why our economy is so strong, is because people have a piece of real estate. Most people have a piece of real estate behind them. If they don't, they need to get one.
Yeah,
right? This
absolutely.
whole crap about renting and
and the amount you're paying for rent, the amount you're spending out of your paycheck, a year now is just massive. It's crazy.
All right, so listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about how the process actually works with hiring a buyer's agent, what it's going to look like, what I think is going to look like moving forward in July, and we're going to get right into it.
Explain it to them
right after the break.
Fantastic.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. What's really the best rate? Which term makes sense? Hi, I'm Ben Forcucci at Freedom One Funding in Latham. We work with 10 different lenders who provide 100 different mortgage products. I'll listen to what your needs are, and then I'll do the work to find the right option for your particular situation. We have special expertise in helping first-time home buyers. So eliminate the stress and call me today at 542-LOAN. I'm Ben Forcucci from Freedom One Funding, and I'll do the shopping for you. Call 542-LOAN.
Hi, I'm Matt Moore from Moore Insurance Services in Clifton Park. Let me take the stress out of quoting your home and auto insurance. We represent over 10 companies, which allows us to find the best coverage at the best prices. We've been helping families in the Capital District save money on their insurance for over 10 years. You can count on a quick turnaround as well as great communication every time. Give me a call at 518-280-1452 or go online to moreinsurancesvc.com and experience the difference. That's moreinsurancesvc.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Okay, so guys, we are back. We're talking about the future of buyer agency, how buyers are going to be able to work with a buyer's agent, how they're going to get compensated, how it's not going to really mess anything up coming in July. Now, I say that in a sense that if you know how the process works, it's not going to be a big deal, okay? Mm-hmm. Luckily for us at Your Home Sold Guaranteed, the property shop, and Ben knows this because he works on a ton of our deals, we've already been doing this. So this idea of, having a conversation with the buyer you're working with and going over the ground rules is going to be the norm now. And it should be. Right.
Shouldn't be just driving around. You met the person that morning and they're driving you around to show you a house. They don't know anything about you.
Right. Yeah. Zillow calls you and said, hey, a buyer wants to see 123 Main Street. Go open the door for them. And then I call them Pop-Tart agents. They pop out of their chair and they run to the listing and they hope to God that they buy that property and hope to God if they don't, the buyer's going to stick with them.
Yeah.
Now, in the old system, if that buyer agent got lucky, wrote the contract, and the deal closed, he got paid, no questions asked.
Right.
Game, set, match. It's over, right?
Yep.
Now, the rules have changed a little bit. So, listen, call-in show, guys. Phone number's 518-476-5900, 476-5900. Give me and Ben a call. Ben Forcucci, Freedom One Funding. We're talking about buyer agency. And this is a good time, and this isn't a pitch, but I'm going to talk about the VIP homeowner system because this really kind of defines how I think this is all going to play out. Or if there's agents listening, like if you're doing it the old way, stop doing it. Like fix it now. I've seen so many.
Don't wait till July 1st.
I've had so many podcasts and other brokers saying, "Hey, we're just going to sit on our hands." Best advice is sit on your hands and see what the government tells us to do. Wrong answer. Right. Yeah. Wrong answer. Like you're just
that never works.
No, you're prolonging the inevitable. So the way our VIP home hunter service works is you call us up, you say, hey, John, we're interested in, seeing a property or one of your listings, or maybe you saw one of our ads and you're like, hey, we want to go see a property. Okay, great. I tell you, hey, listen, I got a ton of off-listed, unmarket properties. There's deals off of Zillow that you're not going to find, pre-foreclosures, expireds, for sale by owners. Come in, sit down with me. Let's spend about 45 minutes together and see if we're a fit, right? Because what people don't understand is that you're going, as an agent, you're going through this process with someone for the next 3 months. And it's not
Getting
easy. It's like you're going down the rapids in a raft, and it's a treacherous trail to get to the closing table. So we sit down with them just to see if they're a fit. And a lot of times we're like, hey, you know what? It might not work out, right? Just based on personality types and everything else. And at that point, we show them kind of how the ground rules are. What is buyer agency, right, Ben? Like, a lot of people don't understand like what it means to be represented by an agent. It's one thing with your attorney, but with the agent, you've got a fiduciary, right?
Yeah, you know what? You're just making me think of a couple situations where it's a big deal, I think, when they sit down with good agents like you, that they get a realistic outlook of what's going to transpire here. Yeah. You're pre-approved for this amount. You can't go to this amount. Things you can do and things you can't do. Right. All right. Because it's really it's vast. It's so much information out there. They don't know what to listen to. Right. And sit down with your agent.
And you're our teammate, because that's all you work with is buyers. Like, you're not rarely. You work with maybe a seller because they have to buy something, but for the most part, you're constantly working with buyers. And Ben gets the phone call when we're at this consult and we're live with this person, and
sometimes at the house.
Yeah, well, not with us. It's usually at the office, right? So at that point, because they haven't been pre-approved yet, some people come to us and I'm like, so what's your budget? And they're like, we want to spend like $300,000. I'm like, you guys got pre-approval? They're like, no. I'm like, okay. Let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes. Let's not go out and look at houses that you can't afford.
Start at the beginning,
right?
Yeah.
But usually it's the cases like we're pre-approved for $500, but we only want to spend $250. It's like, all right, well, let me show you what you're going to get for $250. It's not going to be much,
right?
So that's where the process starts for us, and we put them in touch with Ben. If they already have a pre-approval, we still send them to Ben just for a second look.
Yes, I appreciate that.
And I'll tell you why we do this, Ben. It's because just like your commercial, you do the shopping for them, right? Yes. They come in and are like, or we bank with Trustco, or we bank with Broadview, and and that's great.
Every client's completely different. I get people with this average moderate income looking at a house that might be a little bit more expensive than they really can afford, but all of a sudden they have $800,000 that was left to them in an estate or something. I'm like, you got some flexibility there. Yeah. You've got some reserves, we call it. Right. So every single client's different.
Everybody's different. Yeah. So with that being said, so then we give them the second look mortgage, right? We explain to them how important a home warranty is, and that we're going to actually include that in the sale as part of our buyer fee. Okay. Right. And then we tell them how we get paid. And that's what most agents are afraid to talk to their customers about, is how they get paid. Right. And previous to
none of them are walking around doing it for free.
No one's doing it for free. But the old system was based on the auspices that the seller's going to pay me anyway, so it's not going to cost you anything. Right. But what that does is it prevents them from showing them other properties where there is no commission involved, and that they've got to negotiate it with either the seller or the buyer themselves. Right. And that's kind of the beauty for the buyer, because for our buyers is because we're showing them properties that they don't have access to, that it might cost them a couple of donuts, let's call it, to get that house. But if they don't have to compete and overpay for it, we actually save them money, right? So that's why sitting down with them and saying, hey, look, sometimes the seller's going to pay our fee. Sometimes I'm going to show you houses where there is no fee, and we got to talk about how that's going to work. And that's
something that you're going to handle and take care of, not for them to worry about.
Right. And guess what? It's really not going to cost them out of pocket anyway, especially now with this new legislation that's saying on an FHA deal, we can put that buyer fee.
Right. And I think more and more things will come out too by then. Yes. Maybe not by July 1st, but it's it's about helping these first-time home buyers.
It really is, and that's conventionally, it doesn't really matter. I don't think, Ben.
No, not at all. They're most likely already a homeowner. Right. They bought their first house, second house. They got a 2-family over here. It's investment. Yeah. They know that you have to spend the money to get out there and find a house. Right. It's built in.
And once you had your first rodeo at buying a house, you see the value of your agents, whether they're the listing agent or the buyer agent, because they got you through the mud, and that's their job. Like, we're always in the mud, so we know what the mud tastes and smells and feels like. And then when you get in the mud with us,
Yeah. What's funny is when I get a call from somebody that was referred to me by a past client already, we take care of it. We get them pre-approved, and who are you working with for an agent? Oh, I'm just gonna I'll find it myself. There's so many good websites. I'm like, the problem is we're not going to talk again for probably 3 or 4 months, because you're going to have the hardest time finding a house. And I won't
Johnny
tell you how the entire thing works, but you need to talk to a good agent.
Johnny G, I say this every show.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't fall in love with a website, you fall in love with an agent, right? Because a website's not going to help you find a house. It's a guide.
You're the last one to see the house when you're just going through websites.
It's the relationship with the agent, I think, is very important. We've had our agent for over 30 years. We've known her, and she's a good friend.
Right.
And you can build the same type of relationship. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
it's important.
It is important.
Yeah.
And whether it's me or Johnny G's lifetime, agent that he's known forever, like, use your agent. That's what they're there for, right?
Yeah.
I had something I was going to say, but I forgot.
Sorry, I threw you off.
No, it's okay. It's been a.
You can take a break anyway.
It's been a more. Yeah, actually, you know what? We're going to take a quick break. We're going to hit VA after the break and the future of that. Veterans back, another federally backed loan. And then Ben's going to give us a quick mortgage interest rate update, and we're going to wrap it up.
Absolutely.
All right. See you guys back.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. What's really the best rate? Which term makes sense? Hi, I'm Ben Forcucci at Freedom One Funding in Latham. We work with 10 different lenders who provide 100 different mortgage products. I'll listen to what your needs are, and then I'll do the work to find the right option for your particular situation. We have special expertise in helping first-time home buyers. So eliminate the stress and call me today at 542-LOAN. I'm Ben Forcucci from Freedom One Funding, and I'll do the shopping for you. Call 542-LOAN.
Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at SalernoLawNY.com.
Hi, I'm Matt Moore from Moore Insurance Services in Clifton Park. Let me take the stress out of quoting your home and auto insurance. We represent over 10 companies, which allows us to find the best coverage at the best prices. We've been helping families in the Capital District save money on their insurance for over 10 years. You can count on a quick turnaround as well as great communication every time. Give me a call at 518-280-1452 or go online to moreinsurancesvc.com and experience the difference. That's moreinsurancesvc.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Okay, guys, thanks for staying tuned with us. We just heard Matt Moore from Moore Insurance Services. That was a great commercial, right?
Guy,
that was
How you doing, Matt?
Talk about a knowledgeable guy in the business. Boy, that's my go-to guy.
Yeah, we're excited to have him as a sponsor now, and that was a referral from Ben, so that's cool. I'm glad.
All right, so you got about 90 seconds.
90 seconds. Okay, so
All right.
future of buyer agency in America is positive. Good things are in store for first-time home buyers. It's not so doom and gloom. We do the VA portion of this of these federally backed loans, where VA loans are specially designed for veterans. They're a 0% zero money down product, right, Ben?
100%.
What do you think they're going to do with that? Just quick,
I think it's going to fall right in line.
I think so.
You know what too is VA FHA has a maximum 6% for the seller concession. VA doesn't have that maximum.
Okay.
VA, you can go high as you need to for closing costs.
Oh, wow.
Buyer's agent fees, which we don't know yet.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that they're not going to. They just roll it out a little bit slower.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
Yep.
They're going to follow suit. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I think, the rural loans there, the USDA probably going to be the same thing.
I would hope. I would think
Right.
so. Why not? That's
not as
number
common.
one. They're trying to develop areas with USDA loans for lower population. They're trying to get people to move to areas.
Yeah.
If you don't help it out and give it a concession, good luck.
Yeah.
Any
interest rate updates, like what's going on with the rates?
holding steady.
Holding steady. Okay.
Not a big deal, but I can tell you it's so much busier in the last 6 months than it's been the last year.
Right.
People are done waiting for the government to tell them when they're going to drop rates, when they're going to buy a house. It's been crazy how much busier it is.
Yeah. Just don't wait to buy a house. Like I think we made that
you're
point today.
You're going to get stampeded with so many people. It's get out there and find your house.
Now's the time to do it, because once that rate does drop, they're going to come out in masses, and it's going to get competitive. So listen, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. Ben, how can they get a hold of you quick?
518-542-5626. 542-LOAN.
542-LOAN. You heard it from the one and only Ben Forcucci, Freedom One Funding. Guys, always fun on this show.
Enjoy your weekend.
I think we nailed this topic. Have a great weekend. If you're going down to Westland Hills Ballpark, I'll see you down there.
Nice.
The Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show is presented by Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, the property shop. Join broker and founder John Bevilacqua every Saturday morning at 8:30 to hear about the latest real estate trends here in the capital region, where to find the best mortgage rates, home insurance, home warranties, and more. To speak to John about buying or selling your home, call now to schedule an appointment. 518-957-SOLD. That's 518-957-7653. Or go to JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com. That's JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com.